Hey, today we're going to learn how to build a web application for PyPI Analytics in just 70 lines, 75 lines of just Python. What we'll do is we'll talk about the use cases of PyPI Analytics. We'll go through a little application demo. We'll talk about the architecture, and then we'll dive into the code. So what is PyPI? It's basically the package manager for Python. Anytime you do pip install XYZ, you're actually using PyPI in the background. And PyPI provides a service where it tracks all downloads and activities on all the packages and makes them available via API or BigQuery. Using analytics on PyPI, engineers can discover new packages, they can choose between packages, and if you're building a Python package, you can monitor the performance on PyPI. And then finally, investors might even use PyPI Analytics to identify breakout Python packages and the companies behind them. So to access the app, you can just go to pypi-analytics.pycob.app, and what you'll see is the ability to just type in a project name, the Python package name over here, and analyze it, or you can see the top 50 projects by downloads, Boto3 number 1, urllib3 number 2, etc. And for any of these packages, you can click on the analytics or you can click on the project. The project will take you to the PyPI page. So for example, for the AWS's Boto3, it'll take you over here. And if you click on the analytics link, it'll take you over here where you can see the downloads for the last year or 6 months, it looks like, over here. And so for Boto3, you can see it's skyrocketed starting October from 13 million downloads a day all the way to almost 19 million downloads a day in February. And the other cool thing that you can do with PyPI Analytics is you can actually compare two libraries. So over here, we're comparing Flask downloads versus Django downloads. And you can see that Flask is many multiples from ahead of Django, even though Flask is decreased recently. Another interesting one would be to look at Fast API here, which I think has gotten a lot of traction recently. So now let's dive into how we actually can build this. We start out with the raw data. This is in BigQuery, as we mentioned before. We do some data engineering in Jupyter using pandas and using the Google Cloud library. We'll save this to a pickle, and then it'll be a pandas data frame saved to a pickle, and then we'll load it into Pycob to actually display it. In Pycob itself, we've got two main pages. We've got the home page, which allows you to search, and it also allows you to view the top 50 projects as we saw. And then finally, we've got the project detail page, which allows you to see the historical chart of monthly downloads as well as compare it to another package. So let's hop into the code. First, let's take a look at the Jupyter notebook. And so over here, basically what we're doing is we're running just two queries against PyPI downloads per day, which is one of the tables. And we just run, we get the top projects over here, and then we get the top projects by month over here. So these are the two critical queries. And then we actually use our Pycob application to save this data frame to a pickle, and so we can access it from our web application. All right, so let's hop into the web application code. We've got two functions. We've got the home code and we've got the project details code. In terms of the home code, we just set up the page over here by adding the header, some text, the link, and then what we do is we go out and we grab we actually up here, what we're grabbing is the pickles and that we saved before. And then we do some minor manipulation over here using pandas. We add two buttons to the data frame, which is analytics and projects. And then we can effectively display this this table over here. And we also add a card where you can pick a particular project by entering a name and clicking Analyze. Then when we hop over down to the project detail page, What we have is the core over here, which is just a line which is just a plotly chart that shows the last few months of the project in terms of downloads. And it also allows us functionality, if you look over here, from lines 46 to 53, as well as 64 to 90, to actually compare this project to another project, as we saw, as we did. And so that's the entirety of it. In 79 lines of Python code, we have got a fully fledged web application. What Pycob will do is it'll take that Python code and compile it into CSS and HTML so that you can view a fully fledged web application with analytics right here in your browser.